Today on Locked On Red Wings, better effort, but unfortunately, still not enough as they fall to the Rangers 5-4 in overtime.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty, also host over at Locked On Tigers, and just a little over a week away from opening day. And I'm pumped. You know I'm going to be wearing my Tigers hat on that recording.
That'll have to be an earlier recording on Thursday night. I got a big day Friday.
Oh, he's got a big day Friday. He's teasing it. He's got a tease. Thank you for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every single day. Don't try and say all the words in a sentence at the same time, or it becomes
I do it often.
Mush. We are free and available on all platforms. Scotty, big news before we get to the breakdown of the game. We have 2 Red Wings tickets to give away thanks to a man on Twitter. His name is Jack Richardson. Follow him at Jack Richardson. He is giving away, through us, his 2 tickets to the Ottawa Senators game on Friday at Little Caesars Arena, section 200, I believe. So if you guys are interested, go to our Twitter page, follow at Brian Fisher 971, follow at Bentley Scotty, and follow at Jack Richardson, and retweet that tweet so other people can see it and more people can enter. And thank you, Jack, for being generous enough to give away your Red Wings tickets to Friday's game. Hopefully there'll be 2 lucky fans that'll put it to good use. Short timeline, though, Scotty, on this giveaway, because, we were made aware of it. We verified that it was legit. And now you have, at this point, by listening to it, you have like a few hours left. We announced the giveaway on Wednesday afternoon, and we're going to give it 24 hours. So by 3 or 4 o'clock on Thursday, I'm going to announce the winner on Twitter so we can get you along to Jack so you guys can get those tickets.
Yeah. So this is the only episode this will even be talked about in. So yeah. like the only one. Because by the time we record tomorrow's episode, we will have already picked a winner. So you got to go in and it's literally just follow 3 people. We're assuming if you listen to this show regularly, you already follow 2 of the 3 people.
Which means you're basically already entered.
Right. You got to follow 1 new dude and retweet a tweet, and you could win tickets to the game on Friday against the Sens.
Yeah, so kind of a win-win, right? I mean, if you don't get the tickets, you get to follow me, and you get to see that I listen to anime as my number 1 Spotify genre. That's exciting if you're a Red Wings fan.
Yeah, yep. It's really the biggest win of all of it is just being able to follow Brian.
No, actually, Scotty's the way better follow. He also runs the Locked On Twitter account regularly during games, and honestly, not meaning to stroke your ego here, Scotty, but your video reactions that you post always make me laugh. Like, I don't know what it is, but especially the one of Kanye falling from the ceiling gets me.
It's actually
rising
raised.
He's getting raised.
The ceiling. And yes, that is one of my favorite video reactions at the moment. It's really, really good.
Or was it the other night when the Red Wings didn't get shut out? You're like, didn't get shut out, and it's just like a tractor doing a wheelie.
Yeah, there was the tractor one. That's a classic that I have. Like, I use the one of like the DMX concert with like 85 billion people there, like, and it's I use it for like really stupid stuff, and it's just like a huge wave of people celebrating, and it's like scored a goal down 7-1. But my favorite one of all time is I have in the movie not Independence Day, other Will Smith movie. That's a hot topic of conversation, that dude, right now.
What's
the movie, bro?
I don't know. There was a lot
Pursuit of Happiness.
There we go.
The movie and the scene in Pursuit of Happiness at the end when he gets the job and he goes, and this is called happiness. And then he's just like standing in the street clapping and crying. I use that so often for the most ridiculous stuff. Didn't get swept by Cleveland. instantly done. Like, use it so much. It's awesome.
I remember when you when the Antonio Brown stuff was going down at the end of the football season, and you like immediately got on that and were like posting Red Wings tweets using like the football pads there, and it was so great.
Yeah.
It's great when it's topical. Anyways, didn't the Red Wings play last night, or am I mistaken?
They did play.
Oh, okay, good. I believe they lost 5-4 in overtime. Gave up 3 separate 1-goal leads. They led 2-1, 3-2, 4-3. Blew all of those, and losing streak now at 4 games. So that's not fun. But I will say, if you're looking for silver linings, I think the effort in this game, Scotty, was a lot better than. Well, I mean, hard to get worse than the game against Pittsburgh, but it at least for the first half, it looked like they actually came to play.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, and I don't mean this in like a I'm not interested standpoint, because I will never not be interested in the Detroit Red Wings. Um, but I am, with every game that goes by, I become less and less interested in the win or loss result for the team. Not like spring training for the Tigers level of uninterested in the win or loss result, but as a whole, I'm far more interested in the individual performances of guys at this point than I am, squeaking out a win, or blowing a lead sucks. And that obviously looks bad. And it's something that we need to fix because we do it way too often. But as a whole, I think I'm far more interested in like stretches the teams goes on, and individual performances at this point than I am like, oh, we lost 4 in a row. Like, yeah, we're well out of it. So
Yeah, and I'm not really. I'm with you. I'm not really focusing on any of that at this point. I think it was nice to watch the team respond in at least a competitive fashion. While they went and after that Pittsburgh Penguins game, they didn't just roll over to the Rangers too. Like they went out there and they did have 3 separate leads, which on one side's great, and then they blew 3 separate leads on the other hand, which is bad. But they came out ready to compete, and like you said, the individual performances in this game were much better. I mean, I think we always lead off with goaltending because it's such a hot topic.
it's
Nedeljkovic,
easiest. Yeah.
and it's easy. And Nedeljkovic is going to be forced into he's going to have to start because now Red Wings are on their 3rd backup goaltender as now Calvin Pickard is injured. Victor Brattstrom, the backup of Grand Rapids, has gotten called up to the NHL level. Nedeljkovic, he's going to have to start these games, and I think honestly in today's game he did just about all he could. He still had a save percentage beneath 900, but I mean the team in front of him were letting up so many good, high-quality scoring chances. I think they had, at the end of the game, 17 high-danger shots against. It was a rough game for him, and I think in the last 10 minutes of that game especially, Nedeljkovic played it incredibly well. He did everything he could to keep that lead, made some incredible saves on guys like Panarin and Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider, who got, his 45th goal of the season tonight. So I think Nedeljkovic did all he could in this game. I mean, I'm past the point of blaming goaltenders if like, Pittsburgh, again, being an outlier, but Nedeljkovic did all he could.
No, I mean, yeah, I've made pretty vocally on here that I've been at that point for a minute now, right? I mean, I don't, unless you're giving up 11.
Yeah, right.
I'm not really not gonna put any pin any loss on goaltending at this point. We all know what our goaltending situation is. We all know by now how good Ned is. And more so than anything, we are all very well aware of the defense that is in front of him and how consistently the performances are not always his fault.
Yeah, and today was definitely one where I didn't feel like it. Like he did allow a couple softies in, but I think he more than made up for it at the end of the game with some of the saves he made. And that goal that went off of Seider at the end of the game to tie it, that's just unfortunate. I mean, Seider was trying to block a pass, ended up deflecting it into the net. You can't really prepare for redirections off your own defenseman. So he did all he could. I thought he played fine. I thought overall, if you take out the Pittsburgh game, which, I mean, you can't logically, it's not fair to do because he did play bad in that, but you ignore that game, he has been playing a lot better recently than he was on that rough stretch. Outside of that game, he's been playing pretty well, and I think this game should be included on that. So it's good to see when you're focused on individual performances. That's a guy that you're going to look towards.
Absolutely.
You know, I checked, Moritz Seider is still leading in betting odds for Calder. And we're going to talk about how he's increasing those betting odds on the other half of this. But if you want to get in while betting is hot on Moritz Seider with those betting odds, go to betonline.net. After months of playing.
Hey, real quick. If you're a longtime listener, you should be sending Nolan and I thank you letters handwritten in the mail for getting you on the Seider Calder betonline.net wave before the season even started. Because
it's going to win
you're
you money.
welcome.
Also, that Cade money line for Rookie of the Year, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah,
that's looking pretty.
BetOnline's got it going on, baby.
A couple good rookies in the Detroit area these days.
Couple more coming up.
Things are starting to look up for Detroit sports fans.
We're talking about those odds actually for real as we get close to the season over on Tigers.
Here we go.
I'll let you finish the ad read, though.
Even start it, really. After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top teams for the Final Four and will determine this year's national champion this coming week. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your sports betting info from all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. BetOnline remains the best spot for all the latest sports developments, including podcasts and reviews for all the leagues this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sport wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Yes, Scotty, Moritz Seider was the bomb in this game, to put it lightly.
Yeah, man. He was dobomb.com, as those kids say.
Oh, those kids. No, he had 2 apples in this game, 2 assists, and both of them. He just, I don't know how to explain it other than just looked deceptive. He's incredibly talented, and it's the combination of his smooth stride and his smooth stick handling at his frame that makes the way he does these plays so deceptive. I know for sure the one for Jacob Vrana, he was at the blue line, made a nice couple moves at the blue line, maintained possession, threw it down. Jacob Vrana, absolute. I mean, the guy's just an elite sniper. We'll talk about him in a minute. Then Tyler Bertuzzi, he's fading to the right. No look pass back to Tyler Bertuzzi in a high slot, rips a slap shot, goal. Moritz Seider, man, just what else can you say about the man at this point? Then give him the Calder. He deserves it. He's the guy.
If it's not unanimous at this point, what are we doing here? You know,
right?
I mean, it's not even an if. You know, at this point, at Zegras and the Ducks. Oh my! You want to talk about teams that have fallen off since February? We give ourselves a hard time.
Yeah,
the Ducks went from like a playoff team, you know, upper echelon team in their division to just a tank fest. I mean, they have been brutal the last month, and you haven't really heard Zegras' name either. Nope. Which for a while there, every other day you were. So at this point, if he's gonna win it. Moritz Seider is going to be your 2021-2022 Calder winner. That you can take that to the bank.
Yeah,
the debate for me at this point is unanimous or not.
the debate is, yeah. I was going to say how easily does he win it, but
right,
it's getting close to unanimous. You can see here on the Hockey Impact cards that he was the best player on the Red Wings today, and you could see it in the way, like even the defensive zone, man, he was mowing players down.
Mowing
players down? That was natural. That was natural. I did not do that on purpose.
That was slick, man.
He continues to impress, and you know I'm not even gonna bother looking at things like expected goals for percentage in a game like this. The whole team's expected goals for percentage was asses. They got absolutely shelled from the start of the game to the end of the game. The Rangers from the start to finish gained more and more possession and more quality shooting attempts rather. And just by the third period, they had an 86.12 expected goals for percentage. So, of course, it's going to be really bad for all the players. So, on games like tonight, you want to look at impact card, how these players impacted the game for their team. And you can see Moritz Seider, top of the list there. He looked great. And the stats back it up there. Other hand, Scotty, very bottom, who do you see?
Hronek.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah.
Philip Hronek
Mark
had
Stahl
almost
not a great game either.
Yeah, the only reason Mark Stahl is not very bottom is because he had a positive individual impact, and that's because he had an assist.
Right. Well,
Philip,
not great against
yeah.
his former team there. Philip Hronek, on the other hand, looked like a guy that somebody should have walked out on the ice and given him a map. Like, he didn't really look like he knew where he was going most of the evening. It was not a very good performance for Hronek.
Yeah, no, and
He's also had a weird year.
It's a stretch of performances at this point where he's continued to look like he's just been getting walked in the defensive zone, and not just like coming down straight on, but along the boards as well. I mean, players are just breaking down along the wing and just burning him. And if that happens to me at men's league, it's okay, well, I suck. But if it happens to Philip Hronek at the NHL level, it's like, dude, play gap control. What are you doing?
Hey,
rub him out along the boards.
The game bobbleheads has he won?
Probably 0. I got half of one time because I had to share it with another player. But
so what are we talking about? What are we talking?
No,
but he's had a weird year, man. Like I'm sure a lot of us have already forgotten his weird beginning of the season where he just like was healthied for like he played the first 2 games and then just got healthied for like a week and a half straight, and we were like, what the hell's going on? And then he just came back and was pretty decent, and then he's been a roller coaster since. Like,
yeah, I think it was
he's had a weird season.
Yeah, he got healthy scratch like 3 straight games on a road trip or whatever, and we were like, okay, well, if it happens again, we know something's up. But then he didn't, and then he played good,
and then he was good.
He came back, yeah,
we were like,
okay,
good. I guess maybe he just needed a break.
So it comes to the question is like, is he just a streaky player? Like, is he good, and then is he just dog crap? Because that's I guess that's a little bit inflammatory, but not good, I guess is the best way of putting it, because he has not been good recently, and it shows again today. He's not only was he the worst impact wise, but he was genuinely the worst, expected goals for percentage wise, which I said I wasn't going to bring up, but it's just
I mean, like, and you gotta do what you gotta do to prove your point, but it's just, it seems to be that the last week of performances for him is just highlighting a really weird roller coaster of a season for Philip Hronek. And last year he was one of the lone, bright spots on this team, honestly, last season, and had a lot of apples, and everybody was all about Philip Hronek, and now this year it's been a much different tune, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on him. I still think he has his role. I think right now what's happening is he's being pushed into a role above what he is capable of.
I agree with that. I think a lot of people on this team are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they're forced to. I mean, I think he's still a good mid-pair defenseman to play on power play 2. I mean, he's got a cannon of a shot, but I mean, he's not, he's not going to be a top pair defenseman. That's not his ceiling. So I think utilizing him properly, he can be very effective. But I think right now he's just being forced into a role he's not used to. Speaking of being forced into a role, Danny DeKeyser had a hit played today, and he had the 3rd best impact of all the players on today's game. He came back and you know what? And I mean, playing with Seider will do that to you, but he didn't look bad. He had an apple in today's game as well. So he had a positive. He had a positive.
It was a good pass,
individual impact, and he had a positive defensive impact. The best positive defensive impact of any of the players on the Red Wings today,
good
by
for him,
far.
Man. Good for DDK. Good for.
He had a good defensive game, and I love to see that because I mean we talked about it, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Danny DeKeyser. I really do. So I'm glad to see him come back and play a solid defensive game. Now, he didn't have a very good offensive impact in this game, but I mean, this game was okay. It was just okay. And I wouldn't expect that out of a guy like Danny DeKeyser anyways. So I'm happy to see him have a positive impact for the Red Wings overall in any game.
Why not? Why not?
Well, and then the question becomes, and we're not going to break down Danny DeKeyser's play too much here. But was he like? I had it in the back of my mind that him going to IR was like one of those making a roster space move. Like we waived him, put him on IR, and because he's hurt, which I'm sure he is hurt, like to a degree enough to justify going on the IR because he's got myriad of back problems. But was he actually hurt? Because like coming off, he had a good game coming off IR, or is that a bit knee jerk?
Like, yeah, probably. Like, I don't know. That seems ballsy.
Ballsy claim, hot take.
That seems like a hot take.
Prime DDK is back after a stint on IR. Prime DDK was good, man. That's
bold,
why.
brother.
That's why I'm happy that he had a good
bold.
game. So God, I can't. Sometimes I can't even take myself seriously. Jacob Vrana, why was he on the third line again?
You know what? If I could answer that, I feel like I would. I don't even know. If I could answer that, I would be able to be paid a lot of money for like mind reading abilities.
What?
Because like there is no logical explanation, and the only person that knows is Jeff Blashill. So like, if I knew that, I would be very, very wealthy because that means I'd be able to read minds, and that would be crazy.
I mean, he ended up still playing 15 minutes in last night's game by the time you're listening to this, and that's because he had power play time. He had 2.5 minutes of power play time, and that's when he scored. But him scoring is like you're having a guy who now has 7 goals, 2 assists in 9 games, or 9 points in 12 games. 11 games, 9 points in 11 games, just continues to score at almost a point per game pace since joining the Red Wings. You keep putting him on the third line, and I don't get it. Now, Joe Veleno, and this isn't Joe Veleno slander by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually been solid. He has been, at the very worst, a net neutral impact on this team. Most games recently, he's been a positive impact.
For comparison to the rest of this team, is pretty much a positive impact.
Yeah, his growth, and we've talked about it on end. His growth since the All-Star break has been great. Like he's finally, taking shape. But Jacob Vrana needs to play top 6 minutes. He needs the ice time of a top 6 minute player. He needs to be playing with top 6 minute talent. And Joe Veleno's getting there, but he's not there yet. He needs to be playing with Dylan Larkin. And, Bertuzzi was on there with Raymond today, and, Bertuzzi got a goal and Raymond got an assist. That was great to see. But he's being underutilized playing there on the third line, and I just can't wrap my head around if you're going to have Joe Veleno be his center, then move Joe Veleno up to the second line, because Pius Suter's been underperforming of late anyways. Move him down in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, there's a plethora of things you could do to make sure that Jacob Vrana was getting top 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. And with the addition of him on the power play, he had what, 15?
Yeah, 15 and a half, I think.
Yeah, that's, let's give him real top 6. Let's give him top 6 and the power play. I'm glad we finally got the power play thing. Like
that was nice.
He's finally getting consistent minutes on the power play, which is nice, but let's grow up. Let's grow up. Let's put on our big boy pants and actually give Jacob Vrana top 6 minutes. I'm so tired of this nonsense of, he's going to guarantee score every single game, but he's going to do it in, 12 or 13. Like, I'm so tired of this.
He's such an elite sniper too.
Yeah.
Like,
the shot today was nasty.
It was. And he does that so often. He just got such a good shot that I cannot wrap my head around why he continually gets placed on the third line when he's producing at the rate he is. And it's just, it's baffling to me. And this is not, Joe Veleno. Like I said, it's not Joe Veleno slander. I think he's been growing. But, I mean, with the injury of Robbie Fabry, you would have thought, and the departure of Nemesnikov to the Dallas Stars, you go, okay, easy. Jacob Vrana, top 6 forward. Nope. Still third line. I mean, that also goes back to our coaching conversation that we had on Tuesday's episode. I mean, that's a really bold and strange coaching decision to make. I mean, this is one of your best forwards production-wise, and you continually put him on the third line. And just it baffles me.
Strange
I
and
would
understandable.
love to hear somebody ask the question, why is Jacob Vrana on the third line, and get an answer. Because I want to know. I genuinely want to know.
Somebody ask.
I'm not in those press boxes.
You're at LCA all the time.
Yeah, my job, I would get in a lot of trouble if I went up to Jeff Blashill and was like, "What are you doing?"
You went up to Blashill. You guys are riding an elevator. You're like, hey, man, why the hell is Vrana on third?
What am I not seeing? I'd probably phrase it as like, what do you see? That I don't know. How do you phrase the question so it's not like you being a butt about it?
What is the reasoning? But no. We honestly, we should make it a compliment. It should be like,
I noticed that Jacob
hey,
Vrana.
Verana's been really successful on the third line. Like, why do you think that is?
See, that's the sports journalist in him speaking there. That was a good
That's
well
the
phrased
writer
question.
within him right
The
there.
writer within. We all have a little bit of a writer within, and sometimes it peeks his evil head out.
Do we?
I don't.
I do. Do all of us?
No. I definitely don't. Hey, Bertuzzi scored
Yeah, good for Bert, man.
26 of the season. I hope
something
he
like
gets
that.
that 30 marker. Honestly, I hope he does. I hope he gets that paycheck in the offseason with that extension that Eisman's supposedly working on now. Let's get this bread.
Let's get this bread for Bert, baby. I mean, it's good, and he I feel like he hadn't scored in a minute.
No, he hadn't. He really hadn't. It's been a while for me.
I couldn't
He's a
remember
streaky
the
player,
last time
though.
he scored.
I don't remember either, but I know it's been a while. Hey, you want to see something fun?
Of course. Oh, dude, come on, man. Again, like this is disgusting. First off, look how horrible ours is.
Yeah.
That's atrocious. And then you have, that's both of these are horrid. Like both of them. For those who aren't watching on YouTube, Brian just pulled up the heat map for the shot chart, and that is, that's as bad as it gets on both ends. The Rangers one is entirely blue.
Yeah.
In front of
From
the net,
dot to dot.
yeah, that's really rough, man. That's really rough. And then ours is there's just no heat
At all.
at all. It's just all light green from everywhere. So Rangers obviously played a great defensive game. We take advantage of some opportunities we were given, but at the end of the day, it's hard to win too many games when you're looking at that afterwards.
Yeah, and so it really puts in perspective what you consider an improved effort. I've been saying that all game or all episode that it was an improved effort. Maybe I'm a little bit in shock still because when you see something like this, it really helps you sink in. And maybe it was an improved effort over the Pittsburgh game, but the team still got dominated. The Rangers still had a dominating performance, and this is at all strengths. So this includes the 2 power play goals the Red Wings scored. Red Wings power play was the most successful thing that they had going for them today, which is a very rare statement. But their power play scored 2 goals, and if it weren't for that, this would be all New York Rangers all day long. As you can see, with all situations included, it was a dark blue, or dark. The Red Wings side is dark red, Rangers side is dark blue. Dark blue from dot to dot all the way down to the goal line. It is I don't know if I've ever seen a more concentrated and widespread.
I'm not kidding. That might
season.
be the ugliest opponent heat map we've been given this season.
Yeah.
And this is certainly one of the ugliest offensive ones we've seen for the Red Wings side as well. This is like genuinely 2 of the worst we've seen all year. And I think this was actually a game that went into overtime.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is if you're looking for a way of summarizing this game, it was an improved effort from they played it close, but they were dominated offensively. Defense looked poor. They did capitalize on power play opportunities, which is good, but I don't think Georgiev for the Rangers was all that good in this episode. or this episode, this
In
game,
this episode.
rather. Sorry, we're recording an episode, but they played a game. That Michael Rasmussen goal was brutal. Like he would want that
was
one back.
tough, man. That was
That
really
goal, that
tough.
Ras, it was tough. The Vrana
I
goal
thought he
was
looked good in
legit.
the third.
Yeah, but that Bertuzzi goal, that slap shot from high in the slot, I felt like he was out of position for, because a slap shot from
He
that
was out
area.
of position for.
Yeah, I feel like for a slap shot from that area, you should is directly on. You should have been able to make that save. I mean, I was celebrating nonetheless, but he let a couple of softies in, and I think you take those out, and this game looks completely different. So I think really it was good power play, bad Rangers goaltending that made this game close, because the Rangers honestly dominated from start to finish, and dominated more as the game went on. I mean, expected goals for percentage for the Rangers was over 80% in the third period. They took over 80% of the quality scoring or shot attempts in the third. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're spot on. It's it was definitely a lot closer of a game than it probably should have been.
Yeah, and that's just where we're at with the Red Wings. Sometimes they'll get dominated, but play a team close. That's how the rest of the
Pretty
season, I
on
think, is going to
brand.
be. Because it's at this point, guys, you're joining the tank. You're tanking for Shane Wright, baby.
I'd cry.
I mean, we've seen teams jump up before, so
Yeah, you
you
haven't
just got to
seen
hope
the Red Wings jump up before.
that it's our turn. Our time is nigh.
Dude, if we got, do you know, he's so good, dog. If we got Shane Wright, I would cry. I'm not kidding. I would cry tears.
You're looking at a top 10 pick regardless at this point. So I think Steve Yzerman in the top 10 of the draft, any draft, is going to get you a damn good player.
Absolutely.
So,
this is not like if we don't get Shane Wright, we're not getting a good player. This is actually a pretty
it's a deep class.
pretty deep draft, sans Wright anyways. And then next year is supposed to be even deeper. So
Connor Bedard is supposed to be even better than Shane Wright.
Yeah, but yes. Well, they're both really damn good, man. It's Bedard's crazy too, though. Both these next two drafts are going to be great for the whole league and hopefully the Red Wings.
Bedard's what, like 16, and he's
16, yeah.
He's dominating players who are like U20. Kid's insane, and when this season ends and we go deep dive on prospects, I mean, we might just do a Connor Bedard episode anyways, even though he's next year's draft, because he's exciting to watch.
That's the dog. He's nasty.
Scotty, any final thoughts before we plug the giveaway again?
We ball. And yeah, retweet, follow everybody, and win some free tickets, baby.
Absolutely. Let's do this thing. So yeah, retweet that. Follow at Jake Richardson, the generous man who is going to be giving away these tickets. Jack Richardson. Sorry, said the name wrong. Jack Richardson. At Brian Fisher 971 at Bentley Scotty, and retweet it to be entered to win. If you're already subscribed, if you're already following us and you've already retweeted it, then hey, you're already halfway there. So get those Red Wings tickets, baby. We'll be back with a new episode on Friday. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.
Every day.